Hey, Pastor John here with this week's weekly reflection. Let's touch back base on what we talked about yesterday in church. We are talking about Mark 9, verse 30 through 37, and this particular passage comes in the middle of the two sections of the gospel. Jesus is predicting his passion or his death for the second time, and he's traveling through Galilee quietly with the disciples, and he says that he has to be handed over to mankind and put to death, and then he will arise and be resurrected on the third day. Well, the disciples are oblivious to what he's saying. I mean, in fact, it's kind of like they just don't get it. And Mark makes it very clear that the disciples, according to Mark, they're a bunch of knuckleheads. So instead of asking Jesus those hard questions of, hey, what's going on? Why are you telling us? I mean, after all, you are God incarnate. And the God that we know, Lord Yahweh, would never just simply give himself up and be put to death by man. You're too powerful for that. But they didn't get it. They didn't understand what Jesus was saying. And so after he taught them this or told them this, they went back to arguing over who was the greatest, who was going to, I guess, pretty much succeed Jesus. Because you see, in that time frame, in that context, people were known by the company they kept. If they were keeping company with the wealthy or the well-to-do, then that's who they were known for. Keeping company with somebody who's doing all these miracles, then they would be known for that. So they were arguing who they were going to succeed, who was the greatest. Well, Jesus finally sat them down the second time and told them, in order for you to see the kingdom, the first will be last and the last will be first. And in fact, bring a child to me. He who brings a child to me will know my Father in the heaven, and he who introduces that child to me will be introduced to my Father. It's like the disciples still at this point didn't quite understand. They were still worried about who was going to be first and who was going to be last. And quite frankly, we do the same thing. We see miracles around us every day. We see births around us every day. We see great things happening, but yet we just don't get it. We start focusing on the negative. We focus on what's happening inside our church walls and not outside our church walls, where we should be as the disciples, making the kingdom here great. Well, anyway, that's what we talked about yesterday. We missed you. We had a full house. We hope you can come see us. Y'all be blessed, and see you next week.